WWE SummerSlam 2024 season is upon us, ladies and gentlemen, and today I'm going to predict the match card for the big show in Cleveland, Ohio on August the 3rd. At the time of recording, there is one match confirmed, another one I think is pretty much guaranteed to be confirmed, and I'm going to predict the rest of the matches for you here today, as well as that, give you some fantasy booking and early predictions as well, what I think the results will be. So let's kick things off with the match that we do know already. For the World Heavyweight Championship, Damian Priest will be defending against Gunther, the Ring General, who won King of the Ring, that's right, in May in Saudi Arabia. That guaranteed him a World Heavyweight Championship match at SummerSlam. Damian Priest did retain the title at Money in the Bank, although controversially, he did retain it nonetheless. Therefore, these two will be heading into SummerSlam to go on a collision course. For me, looking at this one, I think early prediction, I have a feeling Gunther just may win the championship here. I have a feeling Judgment Day will get a bit tiresome as well of Damian Priest. Of course, Priest saying that he doesn't need the group, and they need him more than he needs them at this point. And perhaps keep an eye out for more Judgment Day talk as we go throughout this video as well, because, well, I think the group could have a bit of a different look coming out at the end of SummerSlam. But my early prediction will be Gunther. The only way Gunther doesn't win the title here is if somehow some shenanigans take place, and this is dragged over to Bash in Berlin. I mentioned King of the Ring. Let's move over to Queen of the Ring. Queen Nia Jax is guaranteed a WWE Women's Championship opportunity at SummerSlam. Bayley is currently the champion, and Nia has already got a few beatdowns on Bayley. In fact, actually starting before she was Queen of the Ring, actually. She made an impact as soon as she moved over the SmackDown in the draft. So, yeah, she's made her full intentions clear. What's really interesting, though, about this match is the Money in the Bank. Of course, Tiffany Stratton winning the briefcase at the show this past weekend. Of course, got a bit of a new friendship started with Nia Jax, and it makes you wonder what's going to be the intentions moving forward, because, well, both have got guaranteed championship matches out of it, but will Nia be a bit weary of her new friend cashing in and ruining her opportunity at SummerSlam, or even worse, cashing on her if she used to actually win the championship? That could be the fun part of the storyline with this one for me. If I had to predict at this early stage, I would say that I think Nia should win. I think that it's Nia's time to have a women's championship match. I wouldn't have Tiffany cash in at this point. I think you can let that story drag out a bit longer, and then I think when the time is right, Tiffany could cash in either on Nia, or perhaps when Nia drops the championship, potentially back to Bayley. So those are the matches that are guaranteed pretty much, but let's go into the rest of the card of where I can predict what I think is going to happen, starting with the main event for the undisputed WWE Championship, Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. I think this is going to be on many people's bingo card, because Solo Sikoa picked up a victory over Cody Rhodes in the 6-man tag team match at Money in the Bank. If you pin the champion, you are #1 contender, I think, in everybody's book. So I think Solo here gets the big match at SummerSlam. He has now put himself in as the new tribal chief. He's eliminated Paul Heyman from the equation, as well, Paul Heyman still acknowledges Roman Reigns. This is the opportunity for Solo to, well, have his new group and have the championship and be the head of the family. Could this be the moment we see the return of Roman Reigns in Cleveland, perhaps during this main event or just after? Time will tell. I personally am going to predict yes, I think that's going to happen, and I think Cody Rhodes will retain his championship as a result. For me personally, I think this will start off the Bloodline Civil War, and this moves Cody on to perhaps something a little bit different going to the start of the winter season. Maybe could revisit this again around War Games. Let's wait and see. For the WWE Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan defending against Rhea Ripley. Yes, Rhea Ripley returned on Monday Night Raw, and I said that I'd mention the Judgment Day again in this video because, well, Dominik Mysterio, you are in a lot of trouble, my friend. Dirty Dom, of course, was forced to tag with Liv Morgan, but it felt like after they picked up the victory and he got his first win over Rey Mysterio, his father, it looked like he was finally going to give in to the temptations of Liv Morgan as Rhea Ripley returned. The explanation for this should be brilliant to see. Liv Morgan now, well, the Revenge Tour will pretty much be on the retreat tour, I think, for the next 3 or 4 weeks. She's probably going to be on the run from Rhea Ripley, who I've seen the t-shirts is the Brutality Tour. A lot of tours in WWE. However, if this isn't for a custody of Dominik Mysterio match at SummerSlam, what are we doing here? But in all seriousness, I think Dominik will probably be forced to pick a side. I personally would love to see special guest referee, but perhaps he would just be in and around at ringside, perhaps even saying on the road to SummerSlam that it's actually in Rhea's corner. It's all about Rhea, it was never about Liv, and he's pleased that Mummy is back, only to screw her at SummerSlam, and yes, making that Liv Morgan retains the championship, and we have this new look Judgment Day, because if Priest is kicked out and Rhea is kicked out, we can have a Judgment Day of Liv Morgan running the show as she wanted, taking everything away from Rhea Ripley, having Dominik Mysterio, Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and a newly appointed Carlito as a member of the group as well, because first off, that's cool, and secondly, he's not been fully allowed in the group thanks to Damian Priest. The others have probably been quite satisfied with what he's done with the group, and this new look group can be the Judgment Day moving into the autumn and winter season, and potentially we could get some sort of mixed tag as well, where we could get perhaps maybe Priest and Rhea against Dirty Dom and Liv. That could be a lot of fun to see, or even Finn Balor could be the master puppet who made this all happen as well. So there's a lot of variables that can happen. I think it's going to come to a head starting at SummerSlam, Liv though retaining over Rhea Ripley. One of the hottest feuds of the year so far is CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, and these two finally could be in the same ring together at SummerSlam. Yes, Drew McIntyre was suspended after Money in the Bank, getting a bit upset, pushing officials including Adam Pearce. However, I do believe he'll be reinstated on the request of CM Punk and after a discussion with Adam Pearce on Monday Night Raw. The interesting tweak with this though, I mean obviously Punk has been injured for about 7-8 months. They've booked Drew and Punk to perfection, in my opinion, in that meantime, really making it a blood feud and something you really want to see, which is not easy to do for that length of time, especially when someone is injured for the whole time as well. But the ingredient that really spices up even further for me was at Money in the Bank, and that's where one Seth Freakin Rollins was entered into the equation. Yes, I'm predicting a triple threat match because, well, Drew McIntyre won Money in the Bank. Yes, some controversially think this was a wasted moment in WWE. I could not agree with that in any way, shape or form. The fact that Drew then went into a triple threat match with Seth and Damian at Money in the Bank, lost on the cause of CM Punk actually getting involved, and Punk could get involved because there's no DQ in a triple threat match, actually cost Seth Freakin Rollins the World Heavyweight title. And the other little token involved with that match as well is the fact that if Rollins lost, he couldn't get another shot at Damian Priest as long as Priest was champion. Therefore, Rollins was royally screwed by CM Punk without even Punk meaning to screw Seth Rollins. So for me, perfectly put together. Seth has now said, well, actions have consequences. I'm going to stop you getting to Drew McIntyre because that's what you want. Well, if that's the case and the match is made, it needs to be a triple threat. I'm really looking forward to this. These three had mic time before WrestleMania, all in the ring at the same time, and it was electric. So to have that now on the road to SummerSlam and then a triple threat match, for me, it feels like the biggest match on the show. This, I'm really excited for it. The return of CM Punk, Seth Rollins being one of the best performers in the world, and Drew is just on the roll right now as a heel in 2024. This is going to be unbelievable. One thing I will predict early doors, I'm not sure that Punk gets the revenge on Drew here. If I had to predict now, I would say that Seth would accomplish his mission in making sure that Punk doesn't get revenge on Drew McIntyre. However, it may be a sacrifice and Drew may be the one to pin Punk. That way, Rollins and Punk do not have a result against each other. They can revisit this later down the line, and then CM Punk has a reason to go after Drew McIntyre even more because of the fact that Drew can gloat that he beat Punk. Drew has lost a lot recently. I think he could benefit with a win in this triple threat match. So I would say Drew McIntyre would win. Punk would actually be pinned as he's got two people after him. They can revisit that feud again, perhaps maybe go into Bad Blood in October would be a very fitting way to finish that feud off, and then afterwards Punk and Rollins can start going in towards WrestleMania season. For the United States Championship, Logan Paul defending against, say it with me, LA Knight. Yeah, look, LA Knight for me has been over like Grover. This is the match that everybody wanted at WrestleMania. Everyone wants to see LA Knight win that United States Championship. The feud has been already building for a few weeks. Yes, LA Knight did actually invade Logan Paul's home, was sitting at poolside. Weird enough though, no one ended up in the pool afterwards. I thought that would have been a spot they would have done. However, they've been involved in a triple threat match as well, which qualified LA Knight for Money in the Bank. And LA Knight has a victory then over Logan Paul. So come on, all things are pointing in the right direction. Of course, Cleveland is where Logan Paul is from as well. That makes me feel there is a slight possibility Logan Paul could cheat to retain here. Not necessarily everyone's favourites going over on this show. However, I do think long term, whatever happens, LA Knight is going to be your next United States champion. Next, let's talk about Chad Gable versus Uncle Howdy. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Uncle Howdy has had a match in WWE, so this effectively would be an in-ring debut for this character. Now, of course, this would be 5 years after Bray Wyatt debuted The Fiend at SummerSlam in Toronto, so there could be something that mirrors this here quite perfectly well, because when The Fiend character was debuted, obviously it came in not long after WrestleMania, but it was the Firefly Funhouse that started, and it built things up to get the match at SummerSlam. Obviously the White Six have made their impacts. They've not been as long, but of course we've had some teasers with the QR codes again. They made their impact on June 17th Monday Night Raw. Chad Gable seemingly the focus there, with a lot of the crew taken out backstage, but Chad Gable was the one WWE superstar that was arguably left for dead. A miracle that Chad Gable was able to survive it, return and wrestle the next week, and even get into Money in the Bank. But it seems every single week when the White Six do make themselves present, it does seem to be the expense of Chad Gable. So expect Gable versus Uncle Howdy will take place at SummerSlam, and it'll be of no surprise to anybody that my prediction would be Uncle Howdy to pick up the victory. And hopefully, just hopefully, we get a bit more reasoning and logic into what the focus and the storyline direction will be for the White Six moving forward. For the Intercontinental Championship, Sami Zayn versus Bron Breakker. Yes, the rematch for Money in the Bank one more time, because Bron has made things personal. There was no need to have a rematch going forward after this, but Bron did spear Sami on Raw. I do think this is going to lead to another match at SummerSlam. Look, I would love this one to be turned into a fatal four-way, get Sheamus involved, Ludwig Kaiser as well. However, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think that potentially could be saved for Bash in Berlin, because Ludwig Kaiser, of course, being from Germany, going for the Intercontinental Championship, that makes sense on that show rather than this show, in my opinion. So I think Bron Breakker and Sami Zayn will do this dance one more time, and I think this time could be the time that Bron Breakker walks away as Intercontinental Champion. Last match I'm going to predict for this card is for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn defending against Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Obviously, quite simply, the rematch clause. You can't have SummerSlam without Bianca Belair, without Jade Cargill on the match card in some format. Potentially it could be a kickoff match. I'm going to predict though for the main show, I think Belair and Jade will get the Women's Tag Team Championships back. There could be a case you could add, of course, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark into the mix as well. Same as what we had at Clash of the Castle. Now Sonya Deville has actually got them on side for a new trio on Raw. However, for now, I'm going to predict the straight up tag team match, and I would say that Bianca and Jade would get those championships back. So that's what I'm predicting for the match card for WWE SummerSlam 2024, with some fantasy booking and early predictions as well. Let me know what you think of the match card in the comments below. Do you think we'll be seeing this match card, or alternatively, what matches do you think we'll be getting? If you've enjoyed the video, hit the like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe as well. If you want to see more videos on this channel, check out the side of the screen right now, and make sure to turn notifications on, because you can be updated each and every time a new video is released on this channel. I can guarantee you there'll be plenty on the road to SummerSlam. Thanks for watching. Have yourselves a great day. I'll see you for the next video.